Membership fees apply after free trial. Cancel anytime.
Okay, so why do people love my Total Body Bar workouts? Because they work. My clients get an amazing workout and great results. I'm Andrea Rogers, professional dancer and trainer, and my Extend Bar classes are fun, only 30 minutes, and proven to help you get sculpted, lean, and strong. And right now, you can stream my Extend Bar classes for free on the Beachbody On Demand app. See how effective these workouts truly are. Start for free today at beachbody.com.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston are springing up cash. Just sell us your gently used warm weather styles like tees, shorts, sandals, and more. We're paying cash on the spot for gently used spring styles for guys and girls. Support sustainable fashion. This spring, do your thing and recycle the spring-inspired clothes, shoes, and accessories that are just hanging in your closet for cash on the spot. Let your spring clothes bloom into cash at Plato's Closet. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
Hey, it's Storyworthy. Today on the show, storyteller Jen Curcio talks about how she almost got married on a second date.
It's a bright, beautiful, sunny day, perfect for a solar eclipse. We bust out a six-pack of beers and we find a boulder to climb up on to view the eclipse. We took off our glasses and it was like a black disc in the sky with like these blue swirls coming off of it, like just truly, absolutely breathtaking. And, you know, over this hour, we really like pounded through that six-pack of beers and just with all of it, the emotion, this monumental thing that we saw, we looked at each other and she just says to me, "Let's get married." And I was so just filled with emotion and just so eclipse drunk. I said yes.
Today on the show, storyteller Jen Curcio talks about how she almost got married on a second date. Stay close.
Hey, it's Jen Curcio, and you're listening to Storyworthy.
Welcome to Storyworthy. My name is Christine Blackburn, and I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, California. Whether you're a longtime fan of the show or a brand new listener, welcome to Storyworthy. Hope you guys enjoyed the show last week, which was our Story Smash live from the Lyric Hyperion when we played on April 6th. Story Smash was up last week, and I know that the audio is not perfect on Story Smash. I know that. You don't have to write me. You don't have to tell me in social media and DM me about the sound. I know it's not perfect, but you know what? It puts you in the place. It puts you in the environment of Story Smash, because let me tell you, there's a lot of people in the room. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's loud. So, you know, it's a little bit tricky, but you'll get through it for sure. And it's totally worth it because it's very, very funny. So go back, you guys. Listen to Story Smash last week, but not today. Stay with me now because now I have another storyteller with me who's actually won Story Smash. Yeah, she's a winner. And she's very talented. She tells great stories all over town. She's very, very talented. How are you today, Jen?
I'm good. I'm really good.
I'm so glad. And today you bring forth the topic, I almost got married on a second date.
Yes.
I cannot wait to hear this story. That is insane.
Yeah.
And so you look back and you just think like, thank God that did not happen.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah. Somebody swept you off your feet.
Well, kind of.
All right, don't tell me now. We're going to get to the story in just a few minutes. But before we do, I did want to mention that you did win Story Smash. You came to the last show as well. So I really appreciate you supporting the show.
Yeah, of course. It's such a great show. It's always fun.
Thank you so much. It's, you know, I put up pictures over on Insta at Story Smash, and there really are a lot of funny pictures where, people are just doubled over laughing because it's so silly.
Oh, I love it. I think there was a picture of one of the judges just hands over her face, cracking up.
Yeah, like you just can't even believe it.
Yeah.
And you're from Philadelphia, right?
Yep, I'm from Philly.
Right, and I'm from Pittsburgh, the other side of the state.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania is a very long state, isn't it? Or wide?
It's a thick one.
Yeah, it is. When you were growing up, did you go down the Jersey Shore?
Not that often. Sometimes. Wildwood was forbidden because it was like too wild.
So funny. Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My parents were like, "You're not allowed there." And I went as soon as I graduated college. That's how long I waited to break that rule. I was firmly an adult, and it was wild. It really was wild.
Yeah, but it's just wild in terms of kids drinking and.
Yeah.
Is it wilder than that?
No, it was just that. It was just teenagers drunk and smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nothing. When I was growing up, we went to Ocean City, New Jersey, which was, just north of there.
Yeah.
And that's a dry town.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's where I stayed when I graduated high school. My parents were they insisted, "Oh, you have to get a beach house there." Very boring.
Wait a minute. Tell me this again.
Yeah. So when I graduated high school, my friends and I we rented a beach house in Ocean City, New Jersey. And my parents were like, "That's fine because it's a dry town. Nothing wild could possibly happen there." And it really was the driest experience.
Well, wait a minute. Why didn't you just go across a bridge to Margate or another little town?
You know what? I really played by the rules as a kid. I really did.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have a sister that's 9 years older. So it was third parent.
That's a lot older.
Yeah.
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 You were like a baby doll to that sister.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So were your parents religious?
No.
I'm just trying to figure out where the straight-lacedness comes in. In other words, maybe it's that because you were born, so far apart from your sister, maybe you were actually wanted and maybe you got attention. Is it true?
We were both wanted. I think so. She was wild. She was a bit more wild than me. Looking back, she wasn't that wild, but she did the usual teenager stuff of drinking and smoking and stuff like that. So I think they were a little bit more watchful, and she knew all the tricks of the trade. So she was keeping her eye on me as well. So I think it was really that.
So where did you work when you were down in Ocean City?
I didn't work then.
Oh, what did you do all day?
I was only there for a week, but.
I thought you went for the summer.
No, just a week trip.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Because I went right after high school and I lived there for the summer, and I worked at Core Brothers ice cream or frozen yogurt on the boardwalk.
That's a hot spot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man. Come on down the music pier. We're jamming. Get it. Ocean City's a funny place. My family still goes there every year for 2 weeks in June. At this point, they could have owned 5 houses with how much they've rented.
Yeah.
But, it's just a really popular area for people that live, especially in Pennsylvania, in that area. That's kind of where you go.
Yeah. And you guys would just drive across the state?
That's right. We would get in the country squire, 6 kids, my parents, no air conditioning, windows down, blasting. At that point, it was probably Neil Diamond or maybe the Bee Gees. And we're cruising down the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And then most often we would stop at Gettysburg. Woo!
Oh.
Come on down and party in Gettysburg. Come on, kids. Let's get a slave burger and a Lincoln lemonade.
Oh, man.
Anyway, all right. So we're going to get over to your story in just a second because I'm anxious to hear about how you almost got married on a second date. Oh, what a disaster. By the way, I've been married twice, divorced twice, but I could have easily gotten married 4 times and I would have been divorced each time as well. So I held it down to 2. I held it down to that. All right, you guys, before we get over to Jen's story, I wanted to remind you to check out My Life in 3 Songs. My Life in 3 Songs is where I'm putting a lot of my passion right now. It's exclusively on Spotify. I talk to comedians about the 3 songs from their life that have impacted them. Not necessarily their favorite songs, but songs that paint a picture of the comedian and where they're from. And recently I've had on Brad Williams, Margaret Cho, Jimmy Pardo, Patton Oswalt. I mean, I have on 50 fantastic comedians. I really want you guys to head over to mylifein3songs.com and share the show with your family and friends or your enemies or people you know at work. I don't really care who you share it with, but I need to get My Life in 3 Songs on the charts. Do you know what I'm saying? So help me out, you guys. My Life in 3 Songs. It's exclusively on Spotify because we listen to the music. Head over to mylifein3songs.com and check it out. All right, you guys, she's here right now. You hear her talking, Jen Curcio. She is a storyteller and a writer. She's also a graphic designer. And she has won the Moth, which ain't nothing. I'll tell you that. It's very hard for all the stars to align to win the Moth. So that's a very big deal. And you've also been on Soul Pancake and Risk, and you perform storytelling all over Los Angeles. And you actually started a storytelling show on Saturdays over at the Lyric Hyperion, where we do Story Smash, and that's called Chill Vibes. And it's really like a storytelling open mic, which is pretty original, pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. I started about a year ago. We just had our 1-year anniversary, and I love that space, the Lyric, and it's we had some not so chill people come out, but it's chill again. It's chill. And it's, I think, just a good space for people to workshop stories and share that. And it's like a very good, nurturing, positive feedback.
Because it does take time to craft a story.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes time. Like every word is real estate and you got to get tight.
Yeah.
Tell me about who wasn't chill. I have to hear this.
Oh, my God.
Tell me what happened. No names, but just tell me.
Yeah. So we had a guy come in and he was like, I'm here to do my stand up. And we were like, oh, no. Like, thank you so much. But this is really a storytelling mic. And he's like, fine, I'll just make it a story. Tells like the most graphic sex story that was just not even like interesting. It was just kind of like shock value graphic. Like, everybody's like, it's like a mass exodus. Like people are so like disgusted and uncomfortable. And I was like, I'm going to have to tell you, get out of here for a second, bud. And he's like, no, this is my freedom of speech. Of course it is. So he like keeps going and then he got racist with it. And I was like, for what? Like, it was like a disjointed other story. I just wanted to get the racism out. And I was like, okay, that's like the hard, firm rule. Like, you can't be racist on the stage. We said that rule top. If you were here on time, you would have known it. So we get him off the stage. He comes back the next week, wants to go back into it. We were like, no, thank you. So finally they were like, the management, they're good people at the Lyric. They were like, you just need to go reflect on yourself for a couple months and then you can come back.
Was it Ian Ira Russo?
No, but he's another one.
I don't know what are people thinking? I've been over to Chill Vibes when a stand-up gets up, and I've had like words with them. Like, what are you doing? Like, because I'm a comedian, like that's first and foremost. And comics, it's true. We'll get up anywhere. Like, we just want stage time. So when they hear of like a storytelling open mic, they just jump in and they figure, I'll do it as a story. But they're missing the whole point. And everybody in the room knows it. And they just have to be cut off. They have to be shut down, which is what you did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for like people dipping and trying to like do different art forms, but when you just wedge it in like that,
well, it's
offensive.
Well, it's so stupid. You know what I mean? Just because like we're all adults, we're all educated people, and we all have the same goal. We're just trying to get ahead in LA. So when you come out and you do something, it's like read the room, man. What are you doing?
Yeah. 100%.
Too funny. You guys can find out a lot more about Jen over at her website, jencurcio.com. All right, you guys, I'm so excited to hear this story. Wherever you are, put your hands together for the very talented Jen Curcio.
All right. So back in 2017, I was in therapy and I was dating, but my therapist was like, we really need to work on the impulsiveness with your dating. You really like to jump into things. Let's unpack that. And I was like, okay. And she was like, maybe you get off Tinder for this time. And I'm like, no, I'll stay on it. And I went on a first date with a woman, and there's a saying in Philadelphia, maybe they have it in Pittsburgh too. It's good enough. I would say this date was good enough. It wasn't anything spectacular. And like I said, it was in 2017 and there was an eclipse, a total eclipse coming through America, a solar eclipse. And this one was like, do you want to go? She seemed a little bit like swept up and wanting to like push it faster and more and more. And she's like, do you want to go on a second date to see the eclipse? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And she was like, let's get in the car. We'll drive up this weekend to Oregon, to the path of totality. So I was leasing a Honda at the time. Terrible choice to drive a leased car way out of I knew I was going to blow through my mileage.
Of course, because you only get like 10,000 a year or whatever it is.
It was less than that because I needed to be the cheapest lease per month. So I think I got 400 per year.
400 what?
Miles. It was
what?
Yeah, it was super, super low. And I was like, I really got to do this. So
I never knew you could lease a car and drive it that little.
I definitely went through that mileage, but the lease ended during the pandemic. So they were like, we don't even care. The world is ending. I was like, woo.
Oh, good. Good. That was good. Okay. So now you go out thousands of miles out of your way with the lease car.
Yes. So we get in the car. We don't even know each other that well. I just brought 3 gallons of water, 2 sleeping bags, and a bag of pretzels. Not at all prepared. No hotels were rented. And we start driving, and she brings a tent. And the first thing we do, an hour into the car ride, she busts out the New York Times 31 questions to make you fall in love. And she's like, this could work out for us. And I swear to you, some of those questions, I don't believe they were really in that article. I've never actually checked. But one of them was what was your worst trauma? And I was like, what? And so we get into it. I'm like, yeah, I guess we're getting to know each other and falling in love. And I can just hear my therapist now, no, turn the car around. Don't do this. But I continue up. And our first stop was in Sacramento at a campsite. And it was a family owned campsite since the 1950s, beautiful little spot and very cute by a gross river, very stagnant, not even a river, just a stagnant body of water. And it was lovely though. People had been coming there since they were kids. And there was this old lady who was, she bought Chipotle for everybody. And she brought us all over to her RV for dinner that night. And she had a dog named Satan because her whole thing was she wanted to say, who's a good boy? Satan's a good boy.
Yeah.
Character. I loved her. She was a character. And the next day we continued up and we stopped. It was the middle of nowhere. And we stopped at an Applebee's. And I'm a white woman. I'm cisgender. And so I never really felt any kind of prejudice, but walking in hand in that Applebee's in the middle of nowhere, people shifted to the other side of the Applebee's.
Wow.
No server wanted to talk to us. And I was like, wow. So this is what it's like not to live in LA. Wow, this is horrible. And finally, a waitress comes up and she's like, I don't care what you two do together. I'll serve you girls. So
she said that.
Yeah. And I was shocked. I was like, wow, I guess I'll tip her well for not being a homophobe. But it was really shocking. I never felt like anything like that before. Yeah. So we got our chicken fingers. We got all of our, feelings of prejudice against us and we left. And we continued up. And along the way, we also stopped at the split pea soup place, the Anderson's split pea. That was a delight. Absolutely zero homophobia there. Recommend it. Real cute. Good photo ops. Yeah, it was really nice. And so then we continued on, and we were just kind of like, we had this like shared moment with the whole like feeling prejudice together. So I was like, I feel like I'm starting to fall in love a little bit. Like we've had a big life moment, even though this is just like a second date. Like I'm feeling some feelings. And we're finally in Oregon. We get to Oregon on our second night there, and the eclipse is the next day. And there's like nowhere to go. Like no hotel has any space because this is the path of totality. And it sounds so big and monumental. So we pull up to a campsite, like a national park, and they have some camps sections. And this is going to sound terrible, but I thought that every park ranger for like a national park had to be an American citizen, but this woman was from Ireland, which made it sound so ominous. And she just says, I'm not going to do the accent, but she just says, we don't have any more campsites open, but if you're feeling brave, you can sleep by the cemetery. And we were like, yeah, we're feeling brave. We're going to do it. Okay. So we go and we park my Honda Fit, my leased Honda Fit, and we lock it up. We walk through some wooded area past the cemetery. Fog is rolling in. It's like ultra, ultra spooky. And on the other side of the woods, there's an Applebee's. But this time it's like a totally different experience. Like everybody's like decked out in like NASA gear. You know, they probably don't work for NASA, but they're wearing the gear, like super nerd stuff.
That have come to Oregon for the eclipse.
Yes, exactly. And there's just like a few locals in this Applebee's, and like their only prejudice against us is that we're there for the eclipse, and they're calling us the eclipsers. They're like, look at it, it's run over by the eclipsers. And I'm like, fine, we'll take it. Like that's a delightful thing to be upset about, you know? So we get our chicken nuggets or chicken fingers, and it's fine. It's really nice. Like we're all excited. People are building their telescopes in this Applebee's, which seems weird to then have to lug it out later, but whatever. And we get back to the car, even though we're full of chicken fingers, we have sex, which is like a testament. I only say it because that's how great Honda Fits are. They really can fit a lot. Great car. Highly recommend it. We go to sleep. We wake up the next morning. It's gorgeous. The fog has cleared out. It's a bright, beautiful, sunny day, perfect for a solar eclipse. We bust out a 6-pack of beers, and we find a boulder to climb up on to view the eclipse. And
perfect.
I'm terrified of heights, but I was like, you know what? I'm moved. I'm very moved by all of this. So I push my fear to the side. We scamper up there with our 6-pack and our solar eclipse glasses. And it was amazing. The eclipse was the most breathtaking thing I've ever seen. Because, you know, when it's in totality, you can take the glasses off and everything it kind of just gets dark over about an hour of time. The animals start to like reverse pattern as if it's the end of the day. Like the birds fly, it's quiet, not even a cricket. You heard nothing, like absolutely silence. And everybody, the huge crowd of people just got very quiet. And we witnessed this beautiful moment. We took off our glasses, and it was like a black disc in the sky with like these blue swirls coming off of it. Like just truly, absolutely breathtaking. And, you know, over this hour, we really like pounded through that 6-pack of beers, and just with all of it, the emotion, this monumental thing that we saw, we looked at each other, and she just says to me, let's get married. And I was so just filled with emotion and just so eclipse drunk. I said, yes. So after the eclipse, we get down from the boulder and we start walking, because I said, I saw a church through the woods. let's go. And so we start walking to this church with one thing in mind, just to get married. And we're super drunk. But at this point, like, it's getting warmer again. It's like, because it gets cold during the eclipse. So it's getting hot again. It's August. And the alcohol is burning off. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is a horrible idea. My therapist is going to freak out. This is exactly what I need to be working on in therapy. We get to the church. And I'm not even joking. There's a sign on the door that says closed for the eclipse. And I'm an atheist, but I thanked God right in that moment. I was like, thank God I'm not doing this. And I went back to therapy. I mean, I did stay kind of dating this person on and off for a year, but yeah, I was like, my therapist was dead right. Like, I'm way too impulsive with dating and I got to unpack that shit. And I did. And I've been in a great relationship for 5 years now.
That's great. Did you guys actually vocalize, we can't get married?
No. Like, I was like, oh, maybe at the next eclipse, which just happened.
Yeah, the one that happened last week.
Yeah. And I was just like, it was very, like, just a very tumultuous relationship of, like, I think it was just two people that were impulsive who were like, let's get married. But it's like, no, don't do that.
Well, it sounds like a lovely weekend up until that point.
Oh yeah, it was really nice. A really nice
because
time.
You kind of bonded over the stereo. What do you call it? The racism. What do you say? The
homophobia.
Yeah. The homophobia that you experience, right? So you bond over that, and then the weather is perfect, and then the eclipse. I mean, that just doesn't happen very often, and you're together. And I mean, I could totally see how that would happen. Except when it comes to that you actually thought you could walk to a church and get married. I mean, what did you think you were going to do? Walk in and somebody was going to say, hey, girls, you want to get married? I mean, what did you think you were going to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, I think in my drunk mind, which was like super heightened from seeing an eclipse, I really thought that they would be like, yes. Like, I don't even know what kind of church it was. Like, they might have hated gay people for all I know. But in my mind, they were going to be like, yes, we all just saw this thing together. Unity for everyone. Like, I don't know.
Was it the church that was attached to the cemetery?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. That is so crazy.
I know.
And so did she ever say to you, like, okay, so you can move in with me or I'll move in with you and I have this great couch? Or did you have any of that? Like the thinking about the actual technicalities or what would happen?
No, we didn't even get that far. We were just like, let's get this done. Let's get this legal, which is a horrible idea. Like, definitely move in first.
Yeah. Did you know her last name? Did you know her childhood? Did you know her past and stuff?
Yeah, but only because of that 31 questions.
That's so funny. Well, that's so true. You go through the 31 questions. It seems to work out. You know, why delay?
Oh, there was a lot of reasons.
No, I know. But in your mind, that's what you're thinking. Yeah. You're thinking, well, this is perfect. And it just so happens that this would be a perfect time.
Yeah. And you think it's like, I think I just thought like, oh, what a perfect movie moment.
Yeah.
You know, if this was a movie, it would all work out. No.
Yeah.
Love in movies are fake.
You guys get back home and then you continue to date a little bit. And then it just, did it fizzle out or was there like I can't do this with you?
She cheated.
She cheated. You see that? That's not marriage material right there.
No.
Plus, you were so young, you can't be, even in your early 30s. I don't know. I don't think anybody should get married till they're 45.
I would agree.
I don't know. I'm teasing. But no, somebody's got to keep the faith. Somebody's got to stay back in the Midwest and have a bunch of kids and keep this country moving forward. Because everybody in LA is just too neurotic and selfish to do so.
Yes.
Hey, let me ask you, I know you do graphic design. Is that a passion of yours? Did you go to art school and stuff?
Yeah, I did. I went to art school. I guess it's a passion. I was like excited to have a creative day job.
Yeah, well, no, it is a creative day job, depending on the type of graphic design you're doing.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend who's a graphic designer who actually designed the Storyworthy logo for me.
Oh, nice.
But now they work at like this, like it's almost like a safety company. And so they're always like, their graphic designs is always about like how far a forklift has to be off the building. You know what I mean? Like it's very technical graphic design. You know, graphic design isn't always like this same friend, Carolyn, she used to work for Fox, and she worked for The Simpsons for a long time. We would go into a 7-Eleven and she would say, "You see that hot dog holder? That's mine."
That's cool.
You know, you see that cup? Yeah, I did that. You know, so she's done some really cool projects. Yeah, graphic design, you know, just for the stuff that I do. I mean, I've had to get somewhat, you know, knowledgeable with graphic design, but with programs like Canva, it's very simple. Yeah,
definitely.
Because the real graphic designers like you guys go to the millimeter, you know, in making sure it's perfection. I kind of just eye
it. It works, though. It works.
Yeah. JenCurcio.com. Let me ask you one more question. How did you find storytelling, or what got you into this path? Because this is kind of a whole new thing, it seems to you.
It's funny. Years ago, a friend was like, when I still lived in Philadelphia, a friend asked me, "Oh, do you want to go see a show?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it was Margot Lightman's show. She was doing like touring a little bit.
Sure. With Long Story Short.
Yeah. And I think it was that. And
she's a wonderful, wonderful storyteller.
Yes. And I was just mesmerized. Like, I was like, I want to do that. So then I got booked on, because I did a lot of improv before. Mm-hmm. And I got booked on a variety show to do a story. And I just was obsessed. And I mean, it was so nice because, like, obviously moving to LA, I got to meet Margot and become friends with Margot. So yeah, I blame Margot.
Margot is a wonderful storyteller. She's been on Storyworthy a couple times. And the story about how she and her husband, they went on this cruise together and they did mushrooms or something. They were tripping. And they had just seen the movie Orphan. Do you remember the movie Orphan?
Yes.
It was a couple years ago. It was like this little girl adopted from Romania, but she was really like 35.
Yeah, based on true story.
Right. And she wore that black velvet choker around her neck. So meanwhile, Margot and her husband are at this dinner on this ship, this cruise ship. And at their table is a lady who looks like the orphan girl. And they lose their flipping minds.
Oh, no.
You guys go back in the Storyworthy catalog at storyworthypodcast.com. Go back in the catalog and look for Margot Lightman. Oh, my gosh. It's one of the funniest stories I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, she's brilliant. Really great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I love this story, and I'm glad you learned a lesson.
Thank you. I did. Yeah. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. You guys don't forget, check out JenCurcio.com. And of course, check out StoryworthyPodcast.com. You can join my mailing list over there. And then, of course, please check out my Life in 3 Songs. This is the show I'm the most passionate about right now. My Life in 3 Songs. Please check it out, you guys. I really appreciate it. All right, you guys, one more time on behalf of the very talented Jen Curcio. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My name is Christine Blackburn saying, make it a story-worthy week.
Thanks for joining us on the Storyworthy Podcast. We'll be back next week with all new stories. Subscribe to Storyworthy on iTunes and visit the Storyworthy website at storyworthypodcast.com.